again, a few people told me that they needed some help with the 9 squares, so I'm going to show how to do that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is have your paper ready, and what you're going to do is you lay out the 9 squares in a 2 by 2 inch measurement. So the first thing I did, so it's a total of 6 inches, is I took my ruler and I kind of lined it up with the top of my paper to make sure it was straight, and then I dragged it down, keeping it nice and straight. And I'm going to scoot it over a little bit so it's kind of centered. And then I marked off at the 0, and I'm marking off at the 6-inch mark. And then I'm going to connect those with a line. I already did that, so I'm going to go like that. From here, I'm going to take my ruler and, again, line it up with the edge of the paper so I can see that it's nice and straight, and I'm going to scoot it over to that line. Trying to ensure, again, that it's nice and straight. And I'm going to create a line from 0 down to 6. And then make a little mark where 6 ends. I'm going to rotate my paper, and again, bring my ruler up here to the top, line it up, and then kind of scoot it over, all the while trying to keep it parallel to the edge of the paper. And then I'm marking that 6-inch mark again. And then I'm going to turn the paper again. And what's left should be 6 inches. Then what I want to do is take my ruler and line it up with my edge, one edge, and I'm going to measure out 2-inch marks. So I've got my 1, 2, and I'm going to make a mark at the top. I'm going to measure 1, 2 at 4 inches and make a mark at the top. Then I'm going to come down to the bottom and say I'm going to do the same exact thing here. I'm going to mark 2 inches. By the way, I'm going to post this video, so if you need a refresher. And then I'm going to connect those by lining my ruler up with the 2 marks. Keep it light. That way if you make mistakes, you can always go back and fix it. So again, if you have not gotten to the stage yet, you should be at the stage. Otherwise, consider yourself behind. Okay, and again, if you need to watch this again when you have all your materials, or maybe you don't have a ruler right in front of you right now. Okay, so now I'm going to scoop my ruler over to my next mark. And I'm going to line it up carefully, and we'll be using a ruler a lot this year, so hopefully you'll get more comfortable with it if you are not comfortable already. Then I'm going to flip my paper over, and I'm going to take my paper and my ruler again and line it up with the second side, and again measure 2, 4, and then on the bottom 2, 4, and connect that. Line up your ruler. And there are my 9 squares. Then I can go back and kind of erase any little marks I might have had to make. The next thing that you'll do is simply begin to, I'm going to grab my example. fill your squares with your imagery. Remember to think about where you put your imagery. I intentionally chose to put my Rochester symbol in the middle. It's a little bit more simplistic. And I put the busier imagery kind of on the edge here and here. So I tried to disperse the imagery where the item was, more simplistic. Okay. And again, today in class we talked about outlining things to create emphasis. You can see I outlined my Rochester symbol here. I created some texture on my fiddle with my ink pen. So if you have an ink pen, you should definitely pull it out for this project. And then once it's been inked, make sure you use your ruler to do your lines. Then you can go in and play with color. And we talked about layering the colors to create depth in your artwork. So I showed how to layer 2 different kinds of blue to create, again, a sense of depth and just an added layer of interest to your piece. You should add color to all the squares. It's up to you how colorful you want this to be. You could go more monochromatic where you're just using a couple different colors. Maybe you're focusing all on warm or cool colors. But try to think ahead before you jump in about how you want to distribute your colors.